there's a very interesting thing taking place at the Washington Post. I don't know if you're following this. The Washington Post has announced just about 3-4 days ago that they would not be endorsing anyone for president. Jeff Bezos, the founder and owner of Amazon, one of the richest men on earth, is the owner of the Washington Post. He bailed the Washington Post out. I'm not sure there would be a Washington Post if it weren't for Jeff Bezos. But he said we should return to our roots and not endorse people for president. He wrote a column in the Washington Post in which he defended his decision. And he said, we are the least trusted group in America. We are even behind Congress. That's how few people trust the media. He said, and endorsing somebody for president, it just adds to the belief that we're biased. And what good does it do? It doesn't change anybody's minds anyway. People who read the Washington Post editorials agree with Washington Post policies. Seems to have made sense to me, but it doesn't matter because a bunch of editors at the Washington Post resigned, and there were 10,000 comments. I've never seen so many comments on a piece in my life. I think it was 10,000. And I read the most popular, and they were all about what a phony Jeff Bezos is. He just wants to be in cahoots with Donald Trump, which is somewhat of a joke given the Washington Post's policies vis-a-vis Donald Trump. This notion that he's in bed with Donald Trump is somewhat absurd. But in any event, that's what they're claiming. And they've vowed that some people have canceled their subscriptions to the Washington Post, and I find it unbelievable. I told you, by definition, every leftist is an ingrate. If they were not an ingrate, they would be a liberal or a conservative. But every leftist is an ingrate first and foremost about America. They're not grateful for living in this country, which is, in their regard, is a racist cesspool. So they apparently have no gratitude to Jeff Bezos for bailing out the newspaper. The reason there is a Washington Post, to the extent that there is one, in other words, there may be one if it weren't for him, but it would be a shell. Intellectually, it is a shell, in my opinion, anyway. But that's beside the point. And so a bunch of people have resigned, and all the readers are very angry at Jeff Bezos. I saw one comment, if it weren't for Bezos, we wouldn't have a Washington Post, but it was an ignored comment, and everybody went on to condemn him. Like it matters if the Washington Post writes an editorial on behalf of Kamala Harris. Virtually every opinion piece has been anti-Trump for 9 years. Virtually every news piece is anti-Trump for the same amount of time. You need an editorial as well. God, these people, the intellectual shallowness on the left is only matched by its moral shallowness.